Leandre Gott Tejus. Leandre Gott Tejus.
Glad you chose to stop by the channel today. Just wanted to give you an opportunity to really become a part of this community here at the Coach Smook Network. We like to call ourselves the AAA family. The AAA stands for authenticity above all. We just want to give you an opportunity to become a part of this community because we're growing and we're doing something special here as a fan base, not just for Alabama, but the fan community as a whole. We're creating an environment where it's safe to be yourself, be authentic, and meet people who share the same passion you share, whether it's for the same team or not. You can do this by becoming a member of the AAA family. You simply start by just clicking the link provided to you by one of the moderators in the chat, or it'll be pinned to the top of the chat. Click that link. It'll bring you to my homepage. When you get to my homepage, make sure you hit the notification button and turn on all notifications. Understand that there are multiple ways to support the channel, and each level has its perks. You can go through and read each perk. As we continue to grow, new perks will be added to each level. One thing we would like to highlight that all AAA members are greatly appreciated. It does not go unnoticed that you have taken time and hard-earned money to support this channel. Once you join, YouTube is going to ask for some payment information, and make sure you monitor your subscription dates. Also, if you really want to get interactive with the community and find out what's going on, think about joining our Discord family. This is where you can get into all the fan talk of the community, and also there are networking opportunities. Please be mindful that there are rules and that we expect everyone to treat everyone with respect. Also, if you're looking to partner with Coach Smook Network or sponsor, please hit us up at coachsmooknetwork@gmail.com, and our staff will get back to you in a timely manner. I'm your boy, Coach Smook of the Coach Smook Network, and I thank you for supporting this channel.
Remember, when you see me in the streets, holler at me. Say, put me in the game, Coach Smook.
Put me in the game, Coach Smook. Put me in the game, Coach Smook.
Like, share, subscribe. You know we keep it live.
Put me in the game, Coach Smook. Put me in the game, Coach Smook. Put me in the game, Coach Smook. Put me in the Coach Smook. Put me in a game, Coach Smook. Put me in a game, Coach Smook. Put me in a game, Coach Smook.
Like, share, subscribe. You know, we keep it live.
I'm ready.
You got another starter you can name for us? Or?
No. Nope. Parker Brailsford. He's going to start.
Coach, with you being here with different kind of quarterback, would the offense look drastically different than, say, last year? Or are there any other factors?
I mean, that's kind of the obvious one, right? Is like we're not necessarily a Jalen Milroe offense right now. Just Jalen was a super talented runner, and that was probably a part of the game plan every week, and which was smart last year by the offensive staff. So I think that's probably the biggest difference.
How do you anticipate the running back distribution to change after Jalen?
I think it's, we got to see a lot here in the next week or so to see who can handle the game plan, who's the most responsible with all their duties.
What have you seen from that group so far?
Running back group? It's a broad question. Seen a lot. Daniel Hill has done a good job providing a lot of protection, and I think he's gotten a lot better at that as far as with his eyes. He's a super physical guy. I think Daniel has started to run like the back we saw in the spring. Early in camp, I thought he was a little bit slow to come to that. Dre has great vision running the football. He improves every day still. I think some of the pass protection responsibilities are things that probably were not in his wheelhouse prior to getting here. Kevin Riley has started to show up a little bit. He's a guy that has really nice vision. Not as big a back as the other guys, but runs very physical and is really good out of the backfield.
What have you seen from Richard?
Tight end room. A lot of guys, Danny and Josh are doing a great job as the older guys, getting a lot of reps. Caleb has shown up, shown to be more physical. That was one of the things I think was going to be the biggest challenge for him initially, making the big jump from high school ball to this. Jay Lindsey is super dependable as a guy that's shown up to be able to be a guy with his hand on the ground, can be a move player for you, and certainly has provided a lot of depth for us.
What have you seen from Richard? How has he progressed?
Richard Newton?
Richard Young.
Oh, Rich Young?
Yeah.
I thought you said Richard Newton. I was like, wow, that was our running back in Washington. So Rich Young, real similar running backs, by the way. Rich has been super physical and has been a guy the last two scrimmages, I thought, when we need a little bit of a spark to pop a, run right up the middle and finish it. He's done a great job. He's worked really hard at becoming a better player out of the backfield, has gotten better at that. Very responsible. He cares a lot. He's tough, physical, and we love him.
What were your impressions of Ty in the second scrimmage?
Ty, I think, was 12 of 15 or with 2 drops. I thought he was very controlled, distributed the ball right where we were supposed to be. I thought his eyes were in the right spot. I thought he was very disciplined. We were trying to put him in some spots in the fringe and things like that to see how he'd respond and make sure he takes care of the football, keep us in field goal range, all those things. And I thought he responded really well. Had calm demeanor when it was good and bad. There was a couple flows there. We started out really fast again and did a nice job. And when we hit a little bit of a lull, I thought he was there to respond.
The 2 other quarterbacks as well in the scrimmage.
Austin started really clean, had a really nice touchdown drive to start. Keelan was doing the same, marched down the field. We had a couple hiccups up front there that put the ball backwards a little bit, but I thought initially in the scrimmage, all 3 of the guys played really clean, accurate throws, pushing the ball down the field when they could, and were smart with their checkdowns.
We heard the noise today when we were out there. How do you think the team did deal with that as y'all begin to threat the first program?
Just like any time. I mean, this was the first time we worked it hard, so a lot to improve on there, of course. I think anytime you start really getting that in where you're running plays and using motions and all those things, there's some bumps on it. I thought they did better as they got more used to it in practice, and we'll continue to work it. That's something that obviously we'll have to be ready for.
How are Cam and Gino doing at guard, and how comfortable would you be rolling out there with them if Jaden's not back?
Very comfortable. Those are 2 veteran players, very versatile too. They can both play left or right, so they're interchangeable. But Cam brings a lot of physical presence to him. Gino's a savvy player that knows how to connect with his center.
Coach, what will your offense miss without Jam Miller, and what have the conversations been like with him? How's he kind of holding up after the
Jam is he's such a stud. I mean, he is he'll be a value to our team no matter what right now, just because of his demeanor and leadership. So I think that's one of the things you miss on the field right away, is just him being out there. There's a presence to him when he's on the field, so we'll certainly miss that. His explosiveness, his running style, all those things will be missed. But he's been great. I think he's in high spirits. He knows this is a temporary setback, and he'll be ready to go.
We spoke to the tight ends last week during open availability. Josh mentioned that you're going to be using them in ways. What does that look like from an offensive standpoint?
Oh, man. A lot of things I can't talk about. I don't know. I don't know. I've just always felt like the tight ends were the equalizer. They're the guy that can change the box count. They can manipulate what the defense thinks as far as how many people they have to have relevant to the run fit. So I think that the guys realizing that they're always part of that and how they can manipulate that for us is truly unique.
How close are Josh and Danny to being 100%?
I mean, they're out there, they're practicing, so to me they're 100%. They don't have yellow jerseys on, they're rolling. I think, they're both repping quite a bit, honestly. Like at one point they're only at like 20 reps. They've went way past that to where, I don't feel like there's any limitations. Cole is a really savvy route runner. He knows how to get in and out of breaks, understands how to play off the leverage of defenders, read coverages, and in the last week and a half probably has made more contested catches than anybody on the team. And that's one of the things I don't think you would necessarily think from a guy that's a little bit smaller in stature, but he's very competitive when the football's in the air.
There's going to be a lot of eyes on, obviously, Ryan Williams heading into year 2.
Yeah.
What's kind of been your message to him over the course of this fall to kind of get him to prepare for that stage that he's about to set on?
Well, Ryan kind of does that himself. For his age, he is a very, very just mellow guy. Like, he can take it all in, and the moment's never too big. It's also probably what makes him a really good player when the big games hit, is that he won't melt in those situations. So I think that part is a little bit built in just because of who he is. But for him, he's still working on route running, inside, outside, wherever we put him, and just getting to be a better receiver.
For this offense to succeed, what do you need for the running game?
Yeah, I think, for us, it's really putting the stress on the offensive line and the tight ends, being physical up front and creating presence. I think when they do that, if we can establish the line of scrimmage, we certainly have the skill players on the outside. I think that the running game will be key to how far this season can go for us.
Besides Cam and Gino, has anybody impressed you stepping up at guard?
Michael Carroll played a little bit. Olas has done a nice job. So we got good depth there. Those two guys are probably the first two that stand out.
You talked about the difference in offense and being, Jalen Milroe offense. Is
Yep.
part of that less quarterback design runs? I know Ty can move.
Yeah.
But do you look to do that less with him, or?
I mean, to a point, Ty is certainly capable of doing those things. I've just, probably philosophically, Mike Penix was a good runner. People wouldn't know that, but we didn't really run him till the playoffs or late just because it's a long season. And, you're better off with your starter being able to throw the football in this offense than run it. We'll certainly look for those opportunities because I think Ty is a good runner, and we'll make sure we have, things for him. But taking care of him, making sure that he's upright is important.
What do you see out of James Watt through ball camp?
He's getting stronger. He's getting there. I think that there was a little bit, of catch-up early in camp because he wasn't in spring ball. So we're working on the sustainability of him staying on the field, just being in great shape.
What progress have you seen from Jalen Bach?
Bach, catching. It's the first thing that comes to mind is honestly like early in camp, he had some drops, and I think he's just getting more comfortable, honestly, playing the position and catching the football. He's doing a lot better job. There was probably first 3 practices, probably had 3 drops or so, and since then it just really hasn't come back up. So he's doing a good job. You bet. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Coach Grubb yesterday with his post-practice interview. Give it up for the University of Alabama Athletics providing that quality audio and footage for us today. And you got to see it and saw us react to it. I just wanted to put it out here for the AAA family that catches us in the morning. Yeah, we started a little bit later this morning, y'all. I had to make a round and then had some changes to make around the house here. So I had to make sure I got that set up so I didn't get carried away. Y'all know how I get once I get on the show with y'all, having fun with y'all. But With that being said, good morning to everybody in the chat. What's up, AAA family? What's up, YouTube? What's up, Twitter? What's up, TikTok? What's up, Instagram? What's up, everybody? We are live and in effect. I'm talking about full go right now for college football season. We are literally 10 days away, y'all. 9 days away, for real. 9 days on a wake up away from kickoff, but we're 2 days 2 days away from college football, man. College football kicking off. You got college football kicking off in 2 days, man. What's today? Wednesday, so 3 days, really. 2 days in a wake up. We got college football kicking off this Saturday with week 0 matchups. Some matchups we're going to talk about later on in the week on another set. But we're here, man. Good morning, everybody. I see y'all in the chat. Sully, Deborah, Urban Essence, Darius, what's good? Good morning, everybody. Roll Tide to all my Bama family. Good morning to everybody else. How y'all feeling? Tapping in. I did not plan on doing a show this morning, but I did want to come in and do like a 45-minute live. That way we can have some content to clip off today. I got a lot of clips I'm going to be posting throughout the rest of the week as we get set up to do post-practice reporting today. I had a meeting yesterday after we got done with our evening live. I had a meeting with some personnel. We actually have to go on campus on the, I think it was the 27th. I think it was the 27th, chat. I got to look at the calendar again. I think it was the 27th. Next Wednesday, yeah. So next Wednesday, we have to make a trip up to T-Town. Important meeting that we're having is going to be helpful, not just for the Coach Smook Network, for the Alabama Voice of College Football, and where we stand and our coverage of the University of Alabama football program this season for the 2025 fall season. So got some positive things going, got some things brewing, and some exposure opportunities, not just for myself, but like I said, for the team that I play for. And that's Alabama Voice of College Football. What's up, Antonio? What's up, Kay? Good to see y'all, man. Put y'all in the game. I got y'all, fam. Chad said, OH, hell no. All right. Last time y'all seen Bama, what happened? Talk to me. Welcome to the chat, though, Chad. Appreciate you for pulling up. Tap that screen. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. And for all my TikTok followers that really follow heavy on TikTok, we will be gaming today after this live. Today's post-practice report, I don't even have an inkling of what may happen at practice today. Well, not may happen at practice, but I won't have an official report. My sources, both of my sources, are off campus today. They have some things that they're doing for personal reasons. So I'll be reacting to coverage today. I won't be able to be on campus myself. So I'll be reacting to whatever reports are reported out until I could talk to my personnel that are inside. And then we'll see how valid things are without my people being there. So I'm gonna see how everything goes today with today's coverage. We might just do it through interaction on TikTok. So if you don't follow me on TikTok, make sure you go tap in on TikTok, because we will be talking some post-practice news and all that stuff. Y'all know my phone starts going off around 11:45, 12:15-ish. That's when the players are done and they're on their way back to the locker room. And that's usually when I get a good gauge of what's happened at practice. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. What's up, D Hodge? You want to get in the game? Let's go, man. K Tidwell said, what's the latest on Jam? The latest on Jam, man, 4 to 8 weeks. 4 to 8 weeks he'll be out, including the 2 weeks of preparation. We're looking at that. We're looking to have Jam 100% by Vanderbilt game. Some people are trying to say that, it's Georgia. I don't think this staff really wants to rush him back, and I don't think there will be a need to. So I'm looking to have him back at least by Vanderbilt game, 100% by Tennessee. 100% by Tennessee. Bama Boy says, what's up, man? Roll Tide. Good to see you, Bama Boy. Put you in the game. You in the game, dog. Antoine says, yo, Coach Smook. He says, Roll Tide, roll ready for the season to kick off. Rolling down the tally to kick some no teeth in. Clock it in, as my niece say. Clock it in, man. Clock it. Look, he said, clock it, as my niece say. Yeah, clock it, man. Tap it, write it down. Do whatever you got to do. Florida State, y'all in trouble, man. I wanted to do a reaction today, but we'll do it on TikTok. Crane, what's the name of their channel? Crane and Company. Crane and Company had a really solid take on Alabama about 2 weeks ago, and I wanted to wait until it get closer to the season to see about doing a reaction. So we'll do a reaction to that on the Friday show, and we'll get into that. But this morning, I wanted to create conversation around a few topics of conversation as we get ready to dive into our, the full season, the kickoff week. Next week, we have a set of shows where we'll have guest personalities coming on, both Bama people that cover Bama or people from outside of Bama that really their word really means something when it comes to college football and giving some perspective on things. And we're going to have some guests next week. So y'all make sure y'all tune into every live show next week. We're going to have a morning show Monday through Friday, all the way up until kickoff. All right. And our first weekend, kickoff weekend, I'm really debating on, depending on what my old lady want to do, because she's not a college football fan. She's an Auburn fan. All right. So she don't care to sit and watch college football for hours like I do. And I appreciate that. It's cool to have your lady that watch football with you. It's going to be cool to watch, because I watch Florida games. I watch Auburn games. I watch Georgia games when they're not playing at the same time as us. I just pay attention to some of our rivals because it just feels good to watch what's happening to the team that you truly hate. So we'll be watching a lot more Auburn football this year because, her family's Auburn. But I definitely want to catch Florida this year, this opening week. I want to catch Texas and Ohio State. A lot of big games that's going to be played in next weekend when we kick off. But also some good games this weekend. So we'll see. I think I might do a test run this Saturday, go to the bar and see how the feels are with doing the live stream, live watch parties from the bar. I think y'all enjoyed those interactions. Watching the games from home or wherever you watch it from and watch me react and us talking about it live. I think it was fun. The vibes were there. I know other people are going to try to mimic it, so we might as well just continue to do it. We already set the tone, especially when you see guys that aren't even personalities like that trying to mimic and do stuff that we do. It's funny to me, so we might as well keep it going. What's up, Dino? Roll Tide in the chat, man. Roll Tide. I appreciate y'all for being here. I just want to give y'all a little bit of time. We started the show with the interview just so we could allow people to come in and see some quality stuff happening, get some information. And it's crazy. Like I said, that's my second time. No, she's not a basketball fan, Kate. I don't know. Maybe I think she's a fan by default because her family loves Auburn, but she do not let me talk trash about Auburn. She really stand on, she hold it down for her Auburn War Tigers, whatever they is this week. All right. But yeah, we got some fun stuff to talk about today. And when we talk about Alabama football, we don't act like that. Let's not act like this is a perfect team. Okay, let's not act like that Alabama doesn't have questions. And I think because of the answers to the questions we already know, like personnel questions, right? Because of what we got to see last year, we have a lot less of those questions this year. It's more so about the opponents, where we're playing, what we expect based off of the play calling and the coaching job done last year on both sides of the ball. I don't think our question is has a lot to do with what's happening with the players, right? I think we're in good position there. Talent, we're in a good position. I think we're good. But we're going to dive into a few of those questions that I have going into the season. And then more so has to talk about the schedule. So we'll put a schedule up. We'll talk about the schedule. We'll get into it. But if you're ready to talk, man, if y'all ready to get into it there at the 25-minute mark, somebody put in the chat, hashtag put me in the game, coach. Let's get into it, y'all. I'm ready to talk about it. If y'all ready to talk about it, let's talk. Let's do it, man. Hold on. Let me find my cue real quick. Here we go. Let's get into it, y'all. You're talking about Jalen Milroe and the Pips? The perfect weak side linebacker, right? Put him next to the mic.
I'm not going to take up a lot of time, but I want to say that I'm excited about what...
Okay, forgive me, my brother. What's on your mind?
Oh, I'm good. I'm just still sorry for all the other content creators now that we have this mega star back in our presence.
Let's go, AAA family. Let's get into it. Listen, if you haven't already, make sure you drop a like on the stream over here on YouTube. Make sure you're tapping the screen on TikTok. Make sure y'all are supporting the content. Literally the best way to do it, and it's free. It doesn't require anything but a quick tap on the screen, man. A quick tap on the screen. If you're watching on the mobile app from YouTube and it's in vertical mode, double tap the screen right now. If you're watching from your computer or your TV, you got to scroll down and hit the like button. And you can hit the like button with the remote. can't hit the like button remote for all you Roku and Amazon Fire Stick users, you can like the stream from your TV. And it's pretty cool. You know what? I saw myself on TV. Weirdest thing ever. I saw myself on TV on this show. And I think we do a pretty good job with the animation and the graphics and the background and everything. So y'all support it by just hitting the like button, man. That like button carries a lot of weight. The super chats and all of that carry a lot of weight, but the likes, because of the views and the likes, that's what carried the weight. So continue to support us and help us grow by doing such things. Tevin, what's good, man? Good to see you this morning. Good to see everybody this morning. Glad that everybody's able to show up. And let me know if y'all got y'all notifications this morning, your live notifications to let you know that we were live on the Coach Smook Network. If not, I found the fix, and we're actually going to do our own edited video of how to fix your notification issues on YouTube. So y'all be on the lookout for that. It's going to be posted in our VOD series. It's going to be fix your noties, Coach Smook style. All right, fix your noties, Coach Smook style. That's what the title of it is going to be. Mary J, copy that down. Write that down for me so we don't forget it. I need to make sure I post that video today. It's going to be a straightforward video with the AAA feels to it. But diving into the conversation, chat. First question of the day. First thought. When you looking at Alabama's schedule, you're looking at what this team has been able, the reports on everything, what this team has been able to do so far in the offseason with maintaining such continuity with the roster, bringing back so much veteran experience. When you look at all the things laid out in front of this team, what are some of the main questions you have about the schedule? We pull the schedule up, right? When we go to the schedule, and I'm gonna just pull up the graphic schedule from the UA website. Let me go ahead and put up. Let me pull it up. I thought I had it up on one of these tabs, but I closed it out. Let me get image up real quick. See if we can get something going here. I don't like how that one looked. Let's get off of that one. I don't like how that one looked. Let's save it. All right. Let's see if we could do it like this, chat. I'm gonna do this. Oh, that don't look bad. Let's see how it look though. I'm gonna share screen real quick. See if it opened that window. Let's see if it opened that window for us. All right, that don't look bad, right? All right, boom. It's a little pixelated on my screen, but it don't look bad here. So we can work it here. All right, week one. Florida State. Week 2, ULM. Week 3, Wisconsin. Week 4, game 4. Georgia, you know, we have a bye week before we go to Georgia on the 27th. Then the following week, we host Vanderbilt. And as you can see, those dates in red there, those are marked as our home games. The away games are in white. Missouri, we go away from Missouri. Then we host Tennessee. We go to South Carolina, right? You get a bye week before LSU. You go to Oklahoma. You have, I think that's Eastern Illinois. If I'm not mistaken by that logo, that's Eastern Illinois. We have them, and then Auburn. We go to Auburn. So questions about the schedule. My first question about the schedule, is this a strong enough schedule? Looking at the teams on this schedule, is this a strong enough schedule to where we can afford 2 losses or 3 losses and still make the playoffs? I think 2 losses, you're still in the runnings for, and I'm talking about 2 conference losses. If you lose anything out of conference with this schedule, we're in trouble. Florida State, Wisconsin, Eastern Illinois, you lose any of those non-conference games, you're in trouble. Right? University of Louisiana Monroe, you lose those games, you're in trouble. Excuse me. My allergies, I swear. I felt the sneeze about an hour ago and it just now came up. So gotta do better with the allergies and stuff. But what are the questions on the schedule? 1, can this schedule hold up? Strength of schedule hold up? Number 2, second question about the schedule is, do we handle teams enough? Like, are we able to cover the spread against Florida State? Are we able to cover the spread against Wisconsin at home? Are we able to cover the spread against, when Vanderbilt comes in? Are we able to get on the road for our first conference? Our second conference game, no matter how the Georgia game go, are we able to cover? Like, how do we win with this schedule? What does the wins look like? Are they blowout wins? Are they tough contested games as we get further into the season? Because I look at the stretch of games from Tennessee to Oklahoma is probably the toughest stretch. That's usually what we call the gauntlet of the season. You're talking about that October time frame. You get into the month of October, and it seems like from October all the way through to about the second week of November is when you see the second game in November is when you see kind of like the schedule let up, which has played out good for Alabama in recent years because of the way Coach Saban and the staff have tried to align these games. It's like you're getting the team in peak mode at the right time to carry through for 3 to 4 games. Now, one thing I want to look at too, look at how, the home games outweigh the away games and as far as their order and precedence, right? You start off with a cupcake game at home, then you get Wisconsin, a formidable defense that I think is going to test us on certain levels, but the offense is going to allow the defense to really showcase what it has. Just to go into a bye week to prepare for your first road game that's just so happened to be a conference game against Georgia. When I look at how everything stacks up, you got two coaches, defensive-minded coaching and Kirby Smart playing against a vanilla style of to coincide with a vanilla style of offense, not very explosive in Mike Boble's play calling style. Coming in against an explosive style of offense again in Alabama, right? That we want to see playmaking wise, and an aggressive defensive play caller in Kane Womack with Alabama's defense, who I believe is going to be one of the top 3 units in the country this year. And coming in against Georgia, I think this will be the first time we see this team really execute at a high level. I know we'll win the first 3 games. I really have a strong confidence that Alabama will win the first 3 games. But coming into that Georgia game, I feel like this will be the tone setter for the team. Last year, it was. If you look at how we played last year in the Georgia game, that's how we played the rest of the season. Explosive plays, inconsistency, and the defense, wasn't making the plays need to make in order for the team to really carry momentum and win, create separation in a lot of games, right? We won the Georgia game. Probably shouldn't have, but we won it. I think the level of execution has to turn up a lot going into the season. So, questions about this schedule. Is the strength of schedule strong enough to where if we lose more than 3 games, or if we lose 3 games, can we still get in the playoffs? But does the strength of schedule matter? And then also the level of play going into these games, especially on the road, y'all. Georgia, Missouri, South Carolina, and Auburn on the road is probably going to be like games where everybody's going to be biting their nails the whole game. And I think more so South Carolina and Auburn than Georgia. I think we'll have enough momentum coming into this Georgia game with all the hype coming into the season, a lot of fresh legs, hopefully at this point in the season, a lot of anticipation for this game. Georgia's going to be, if they're able to remain undefeated coming into this game, they're going to be a top 3, top 4 team. Alabama will be right there outside the top 5 looking in. Texas can lose against Ohio State and not drop out the top 5. Right? Or vice versa. Ohio State lose to Texas and they not. One of those teams got to lose. They're not going to be outside the top 5. I guarantee you that. So we'll have a good chance to really make a wave if we beat Georgia at Georgia in Athens, right? 4th game of the season, first conference game. But that also sets Georgia up for like a crazy miracle season too. Going past that, Vanderbilt, that's a game that I'm not worried about. I feel like this, I heard Crane and company refer to this as the Tuscaloosa Massacre. I truly believe hosting Vanderbilt is going to bring a certain level of energy. I'm hearing already that the fans are wanting to travel more with this team. They feel like they've turned over a new leaf because they got a win over Bama last season. Oh, freaking well. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but this is not the time to get your hopes up and thinking that Vanderbilt is going to be able to hang with Bama. The standard is reestablished, and I think it's going to be reestablished with a certain kind of intensity
coming into this season, a different type of intensity. Shout out to Kate in the chat. Shout out to Antonio in the chat on TikTok. Appreciate y'all for being active over there, tapping that screen. Drop any questions in the chat. Two Crew says in the chat on Instagram, he said, game, sustained drives, giving the defense time to rest and regroup will work wonders for us. No more boom or bust. Facts, 100%. We've had some back and forth spats on Twitter due to disagreements, but Tide family is Tide family at the end of the day. I don't, you gotta clarify who you are, brother. Gotta clarify who you are. 29 in the chat, man, on YouTube. Continue to run the likes up. Caleb and Alex White, what's the question? Let me see. A more consistent run game along with being able to consistently move the chains will work wonders for us. Sustained drives, giving the defense rest and regroup is something we didn't have. Is that you? Same comment from the other side, Two Crew? Is that you, Caleb and Alex White? If that's you, appreciate the comment. And you're absolutely right. That's something that Ryan Grubb spoke on in the spring in spring. Being able to have a philosophy where the defense doesn't dictate the momentum of the game, right? The defense for Kane Womack and for Ryan Grubb and for Kalen DeBoer's systems, both philosophies to work. This has to be one of those situations where the offense really controls the tempo, right? And you got to be, the only way you're able to do that is by utilizing the run game. And I think Ryan Grubb alluded to this yesterday, talking about his confidence in the rotation of guys. Yes, we're missing Jaden Roberts. Yes, Caden Proctor is working back from an injury. But you heard the names that he called, Olis Alanine and Michael Carroll. Michael Carroll is probably the most athletic offensive lineman in that room right now, hands down. Can play guard, tackle. And if push come to shove, you need a solid center. He's snapped before. He's had quality snaps at the center position at the high school level. His dominance in the trenches, though, is just a testament to not only the recruiting, but the development, because a guy that type of talent to get in the system right now and already be an impactful as he is as a freshman. Same with Lloyd Jackson, right? A lot of these young guys, man, they're ready right now. And that's causing the veteran guys to really step it up and be on their P's and Q's when it comes to the mental side of things. So we should see some effective run blocking from our offensive line, or just some effective being able to reestablish the line of scrimmage and get a push on the run plays. And if you have strong running backs like Richard Young, who's going to be called to be the leader in this group, starting off, he's going to have his opportunity to showcase that he's the leader, right? But then you got guys like Daniel Hill and Dre Washington behind him. I truly believe Daniel Hill runs with a different type of intent because he knows he has time. So his patience is going to show up a lot more, just like it did last year with his limited opportunities. Dre Washington is another fifth-year guy that came in from the portal. Going to get any opportunity he gets, he's going to try to make big of it. But then you got the true freshman AK Deer in that rotation. Just a spark. And so you got a lot of options to figure this thing out. If your offensive line can deliver consistently with Jam Miller gone without having to overutilize the QB in the run game, right? Still allowing the QB to make his legs a threat, because we know Ty Simpson can move a little bit. We know that Keelan Russell has the legs. We know that Austin Mack is strong in the running game, utilizing his legs. So I think this year you'll have a lot more balance with the pace of play calling on the offensive side. Ryan Grubb, with his experience, all the assets he has available, the depth of rotation he can get it from all his special skill positions, and that goes into sideline preparation too. Just imagine being able to throw a totally different group of receivers out there and not have to slow down your play calling, to where you can pull Isaiah Orton, Jeremy Bernard, Ryan Williams, and Rico Scott and Marshall Pritchett in for when we send you guys back out there, when we get to the 35, when we get into that middle green area, personnel change. We're going to huddle. We're going to get the personnel grouping in there. This is the plays we're going to script off right now. If they align like this, you don't have to look to the sideline. You know what's coming. If they align like this, if we give you this call and they align like this, you know what the adjustment is. Let's go turbo. When you're able to do that for 2 or 3 plays in a drive, right? Because your offensive line is blocking consistently, it doesn't matter how you align or what players you put out there. That's a different team. That means you got quality depth at all those major spots. So you go with your base personnel. You can go with your 13 personnel. You go with your 3 tight end sets and slow the game down so you could do things like that on the sideline. Jamarcus Shepard with on-field coordinator Nick Sheridan, the quarterback coach, and they're able to talk to the group of wide receivers while the quarterback is on the field operating the offense, still moving the ball, not having to slow down the play calling because your quote unquote starters aren't out there. That's the type of quality of depth we have at Alabama. And when you have a schedule lined up like we do, you're going to need that. You're going to need moments like that in the Georgia game. You're going to need a moment like that. You're going to need at least a drive where you can hold guys like Ryan, Isaiah, and Josh Cuevas off the field so that you can get some game planning done eye to eye. Hey, you see what that safety's doing when we get this motion? Key off of that. That's where we're going to see the separation with this schedule. If you feeling what I'm saying, give me some feedback. We actually have a chain moving quarterback. Last year was frustrated seeing players open. We had a one read and go QB. I think that's misconstrued very heavily, Brian Lewis. I watched so much film from Jalen Milroe's first 6 games of last year. And this is everybody learning the offense at the same pace, right? And there was a lot of plays. Kobe Prentice, Kendrick Law. Tight end play was inconsistent. CJ Dupree. A lot of misreads by the receivers in this concept type of pass scale where they're supposed to be cueing and turning inside and they're turning outside. Ryan Williams had a few plays early like that in the season. And so, of course, a quarterback that can naturally turn bad things into good things is going to result to his legs. A lot of times y'all talk about one read quarterbacks is kind of hard to even count it as one read when he's in his second step of his 3-step drop and his tackle's already getting beat. And we saw that a lot. So any quarterback behind the offensive line with the lack of consistency at the wide receiver last year was going to struggle in this pass game. Everybody talks about how good Ty Simpson look in mop-up duty. Every second string quarterback at Alabama is supposed to look that good when they come in with first string guys in the second group with them. First string offensive lineman, first string caliber offensive lineman as their second team offensive line. So I think he looks like Josh Allen with his fiery take from with his fiery take from Ryan Grubb. This guy will put up numbers. Why do you think Ty reminds you of coming into this? Who do you think Ty reminds you of coming into the season? I wouldn't say Josh Allen. I wouldn't say Josh Allen. I would say more so of honestly, more so of young Drew Brees. I know the height is there. There's similarities with height. The way he throws on the run. Drew Brees was sneaky when he got outside the pocket, could get you those 12 to 15 yards. Former Alabama quarterback, I think you kind of could relate to him. Brody Croyle. Nah, I'm not thinking Baker Mayfield. He's way more protective of the ball and a lot more decisive than Baker Mayfield. And the arm talent is better. Baker Mayfield is not as accurate as Ty Simpson. And I say Drew Brees because we know Drew Brees' intermediate deep ball was probably the most accurate of his time for like a 6-year stretch. Yeah, I'm not feeling that Baker Mayfield comparison. I know this not NFL, but how you feel about Devontae and Mechie being back together? We can actually segue and talk about that for a second. Shout out to my brother Jeremy tapping in from Facebook, man. My brother tapping in, showing some love. And y'all on YouTube, don't forget to run the likes up. We got 34 live viewers in the chat, 15 likes on the stream. Let's get that up to 25. Let's hit our goal for the 8th or 9th day in a row. I think this will be the 9th day in a row. Live stream, more than 30 minutes where we hit the 25 like goal. Help us reach that goal over there on YouTube chat. If you're on any other platform right now, please tap in on YouTube. We're live right now at Coach Smook on YouTube. Drop in and drop a like. Coach Warren said an accurate Jalen Hurts. Boy, you better stop. Ty Simpson is he's more of a complete quarterback than Jalen Hurts was in college. But what I was about to say, the reunion of Devontae and Mechie with Jalen Hurts and all the other Bama Georgia players. The Eagles are doing some crazy stuff right now. With how they're continuing to just pad that roster with quality guys that are bought in, and that offense is going to be even more exciting adding a receiver asset like that, like Mechie in there. Somebody said shades of Bo Nix. I agree with that. A lot better decision making, I hope, though. if we get Bo Nix lined up at quarterback at Bama this year from Ty Simpson, we're going to be seeing an inconsistent offense. We're going to see an inconsistent offense. And I don't think we'll even get to see Ty to his full potential if he shows up like Bo Nix. But I can see it. I can see shades of it. I can see when Bo Nix is rolling, especially his last year at Auburn before he got injured, when he was rolling, he was definitely tough to stop. When he finally started slowing down and the game started slowing down for him, definitely tough. Older Bo Nix, that is facts. I could agree with that. I can agree with that, especially NFL Bo Nix right now. I can see that. Similar skill sets. Bo Nix wasn't the fastest quarterback, but he hurt Bama with his legs. His freshman year. Appreciate all the likes on Facebook too. We got Karima and my brother Rico checking in on Facebook. Listen, let me give y'all some shout outs real quick. I gotta give, well, not shout out. I'm gonna give y'all a round of applause, a hand clap of praise, like they say in church. Appreciate all the likes and the interactions on all the platforms. Thank y'all for being supportive of the Coach Smook Network. Even if you ain't a Bama fan, I see a lot of family that's not Bama checking in and tapping in. So I appreciate y'all for rocking with your brother, your nephew, your cousin, your uncle, whatever you want to, whatever I am to you, your friend. I appreciate y'all for interacting with us and supporting the content. Continue to run the likes up. We almost at 25 likes on YouTube. So next topic, next question going into the season. That's what I feel about Mechie and Devontae reunited though, Jeremy. I think it's about to be a crazy, exciting offense to watch again. I mean, the tush push, they ruled it out, right? Or did they not rule it out? The brotherly push, whatever they calling it. I don't know what they calling it now. But if they ruled that out, you just gave them another reason to air it out some more. And Jalen Hurts, we know the deep ball is his specialty, and that offensive line is built in Philly. That offensive line is built just for Jalen Hurts. So it's about to be a crazy year for Philly. Y'all know I'm a diehard Atlanta Falcons fan, but with all my Bama boys on Philadelphia, it's kind of hard not to be more intrigued. It's still good, Dino. Oh, they messed up now. They done messed up now. They let them do the tush push, and they done gave him another receiver. I wouldn't be surprised if Julio come out of retirement for them boys. And end up in Philly, man. That'll be crazy. Julio with Jalen and Devontae and Mechie, and who else they got at wide receiver in Philly? It's kind of like it don't even matter. They lost A.J. Brown. That sucked, but you got to look, man. I got to get back on my NFL vibe. You know what's crazy? I had an invite to be on the NFL podcast. I just don't watch it enough on Sunday. I go to a new church, though, and I'm going to be able to watch a lot of NFL this season, y'all. I'm at a new church for the first time in my life as an adult. I think I'm going to be out of church in time to catch some afternoon football on Sunday when it kick off. Oh, yeah. Julio back in Philly will be fun to watch. Facts with the rest of them. All right, y'all, let's get back to some Bama football talk. Let's get the schedule back up on the screen. See what we got left on here. What's the questions? Let me get back into the description of the channel. We had some questions. So when it comes to this, how does this schedule weigh? How does it fare? Biggest game of the season. Let's who are the real tests? Let's do that. Who are the real tests in the SEC? Who are the real tests? Not based off of logo, not based off of what you did in the past. We're talking about what you're fitting or what you're fielding on the field this season, right? And we got about 15 more minutes on this segment, so I'm gonna try to go through it. I think honestly, and this is no disrespect to any team on this schedule, I just look at what's on paper and what's being brought just based off of my evaluation. A lot of people would think that I would go ahead and throw Georgia on that list. I don't think we see a true test. Until we host Tennessee. And I think the test will be alignment and seeing how we adjust, how quickly we can adjust, because Josh Heupel is going to try to spread our defense out. Knowing the situation he has at quarterback, he wants to make it as easy as he can for the quarterback. But I think our first true test comes when we host Tennessee, right? I don't think it's a close game. I think we still win that one by, 14, 17 points. But I think that's the first true test. Now, like Caleb and Alex White said, I have been a big proponent of us going to South Carolina. I have been high on that because I think South Carolina, Shane Beaman has a organization, a culture right now in South Carolina where this team just believes, man. And they're willing to do whatever he feels as far as a head coach And Shane Beamer, he's found ways to win since being a head coach. He's found ways to win. He had success at Virginia Tech as a coordinator. Now he's finding ways to win at South Carolina. He's recruiting well. They're really locking back down the state. You look at the Clemson, South Carolina battle when it comes to recruits. South Carolina starting to win a lot more of those recruiting battles, especially with the SEC getting stronger, ACC getting weaker. Clemson not really able to state their claim in the ACC no more, with SMU and Miami and other teams jumping into the league. Florida State trying to make a surge back. So South Carolina is right there in the middle of kind of like where Ole Miss has been for the past few years. LSU has been right there stuck in the middle for the past few years since their natty appearance. Who else in the SEC? We see pop in and pop out. Texas A&M. You know, we can even throw Oklahoma in there from last year. Oklahoma was in more games than they were out of and still ended up with a 6-7 record, I believe, 6-6. So I think right now South Carolina is the team that I feel like is going to be the toughest opponent. Right now, that's the toughest game, the one that I'm most worried about on the schedule. And then, of course, going to Auburn at the end of the season. I'm not worried about LSU coming into the house after a bye week. We get a bye week before LSU. I'm not as much worried about Oklahoma. I think that offensive style with what they're going to try to dial up against our defense, the philosophies match enough to create a quality competition. But I think skill set wise in the secondary, we have way more than what Oklahoma is bringing to us, and that's at that point of the season. By this point of the season, they will have an identity, and that's something that you could key on in preparation for attacking their offense or stopping their offense. Now, Brett Venables and that defense, I think the play calling that Nick Sheridan did last year, even with some of the hiccups, even with all the hiccups and the lack of scoring ability, it wasn't because of play calling. It was definitely a lack of execution. And if Nick Sheridan was able to get some looks open to where, you know, he's going to have a different skill set. Alabama's going to have a different skill set at quarterback. I think we see a different results against Brett Venables' defense. And he'll have some time to prepare for Alabama's offense. And Brett Venables, we know that how impressive of a defensive mind he is. How healthy will they be at this point in the season? And what does their depth look like behind their first team? Their second front on the defensive side looks good at Oklahoma, but how do they look? I think that's another game to kind of pay attention to, but definitely the toughest games on the schedule, I think, are Tennessee will be the first test. South Carolina will be the next big test, and I think that if we lose one, that's the one I pick for us to lose. And Auburn, being at Auburn, if we was to lose more than one game this season, it would be because of some voodoo at Auburn. And Auburn has a lot of skilled players outside of the quarterback position. They have a lot of pieces to figure out on the secondary. The secondary looks horrible. But other than those two spots, they look like a solid team and might be able to find a trend on their way into this Iron Bowl, the last game of the season against us. So Georgia being the first big road game is going to test Ty and the offense. Defense will be okay. I don't think so, Dino. I strongly disagree. I think Ty is more so prepped and going to be able to fluently operate and be the big time guy that he is in those big games. It'll be the games where we're hosting. Maybe it's the game where we go against Missouri and he's expected to go crazy in that game, right? He's expected to go crazy in that game, and that's the game where he has to slow it down. And because he's not throwing the big bombs and there's not 5 passing touchdowns, people are going to look at him and be like he struggled because he went, 21 of 29 in passing for 240 yards and 1 touchdown. Right? But that's the game that's going to be the one that tests him. Can he stay within the wheelhouse of the offense and the scheme and not try to do too much because he has everything else set up around him to where if he gets it to the right spot at the right time on a consistent basis, that's the best way for Alabama's offense to have success, and that's the best way for us to get to wins. Right? I think South Carolina be the first road test that really challenges them. In between those hedges is different. It's different. And I don't think Georgia's skill set wise on the secondary won't have enough to keep up with tying our wide receiver core. Their secondary is sketchy. We had Darius on the phone the other day talking about KJ Bolden. KJ Bolden can't guard both seams. Not with the type of speed we have. He cannot guard both seams. He's a middle of the field type safety. If Kirby feels confident playing a lot of 1 high with KJ Bolden, I hate it for him. If Nick Sheridan was able to scheme it up, I guarantee you Ryan Grubb will be able to scheme it up too. So I'm not on the Georgia train, the Georgia being a tough test for Bama train. I'm just not on it. Matt, what's good? Georgia ain't got no QB. Facts, tell him, Matt. Matt Smith said Georgia ain't got no. Tennessee doesn't even know who their QB is either. Tennessee does know who their QB is, and I think people are overstepping and overlooking Aguilar. Now, I feel like we go in and beat Tennessee, right? I truly feel like we do. But I don't think it's like everybody thinks it is because of their quarterback. I think if we played against Nico this year, it's a blowout. But Tennessee has an experienced guy coming in. I think the only reason we beat Tennessee is because that quarterback, Joey Aguilar, gives us kind of like Joe Milton type feels with how he approached the games. And I can't remember the other quarterback. Not trying to shame or anything, but y'all remember the quarterback they had with alopecia? I forget his name. Josh something, wasn't it? Didn't have any eyebrows. I forget his name. And I'm not joking. So if you laugh, I'm a Dobbs. There you go. Dobbs. Y'all hell, man. Don't laugh. If you laugh, I'm firing you up. Tonio, big homie. I see y'all. But you ain't got no eyebrows for real, man. I feel like Aguilar is going to bring us those type of feels because he had everything in the bag. He had personnel around him. Dobbs had enough weapons to compete with Bama, and they played us tough for 3 quarters when he was the quarterback. They played us tough. Yeah, Tony, steady chilling. But I truly feel like Aguilar presents a better play calling style that Josh Heupel and staff want to display. Yeah, we were on our last leg at DB against them last year. That, along with having better run fits, equals a comfy win versus Tennessee. How do you figure we was on our last leg with the DBs last year? I don't think that was the case, man. I think that was more so of finding what's comfortable for your secondary. You got to think we played 4 true freshmen in that game, and they did not beat us in the passing game. We had 11 missed tackles, 11 total missed tackles in that game. They didn't beat us in the pass game. I just think this year with the continuity on the defense, the play calling, the language, everything fits better overall. So when you have a quarterback like Aguilar who's not going to really impress you with his legs and he's not going to threaten you, you got DBs that can really focus and key in on the vision of the quarterback. And that's where I think his downfall is, the vision. The vision. King Mack, not just King Mack, Deshaun Jones was getting out there. Like that don't mean we were stretched. They were getting thrown into situations because we didn't. How many explosive plays did they get? 3 explosive plays they game in the passing game. Everything else was definitely in the run game. So those are the 3 games, toughest opponents. Next question we have. Next question I have. And this is some quality stuff. I think I brought this topic up before. The game that I'm most confident about, I think we could say, and I'm not talking about no cupcake game. I think the big game that I'm most confident about is Georgia. That's the one that I'm really confident about. I'm very confident about Oklahoma coming into town, but Georgia going to Athens, and people can say what they want. It's not my hate for Georgia. It's literally, I don't think Gunnar Stockton is going to be ready. I think because of how their schedule plays out and what they have coming into the game against us, you won't really get to see your team tested to see how they respond to get hit in the mouth into that game. And I think that's what the edge was last year. But this year, I think there's a different pace of play calling that's going to send Kirby's defense into a depth of rotation that he's not used to having to utilize if he wants to stay fresh and be in this game through the third quarter. I truly believe like this. I'm gonna lay this out for Georgia fans and for Bama Nation. I think Alabama, Georgia starts off. Alabama has to receive, right? Let's just fantasize for a minute. This is how I see it going. I think Alabama receives. This is why I'm so confident. I think Alabama receives big play first drive, if not on the kickoff return. Big play first drive. Somehow or another, whether it's the second, third, or fourth play, I don't think it's a long drive. And that shakes Georgia's defense off rip. And then you got Gunnar Stockton coming out and he has to follow it up Kirby Smart wants to force him to slow the ball down. Mike Boble's going to call the 3 yards in the cloud of dust type play calling to open the game, hoping to establish some physicality. His defense is ready for that, built for it. We see the effectiveness. No first downs on the first drive. You get a 3 and out on the first drive. Alabama goes down to score. I think that sets the tone. It doesn't matter if Georgia comes down and scores. I think that sets the tone for the rest of the game. You see a pick 6 somewhere in the third quarter where Georgia needs it, right? We see it where Georgia needs to score. We see a pick 6 by Alabama's defense, who was able to force turnovers against Carson Beck. And I don't think Gunnar Stockton has the same IQ or the same vision as Carson Beck. Might have a stronger arm, but it's not as accurate either. And Georgia, y'all can play this game like y'all want to. Georgia fans, y'all can play like y'all don't have no questions at quarterback, but y'all are shook right now. And there's this rumor that your second string guy is supposed to be just as good as Gunnar Stockton. That's not a good situation to be in. So I really think Alabama beats Georgia, and I mean a blowout. I'm talking 42-17, 42-14, something like that. Alabama. I truly believe that game could be like that, and that might be a good thing for Georgia. But I know, does Georgia have Auburn before we come into town, or is that later in the season? Somebody give me that schedule real quick. Let me know if Georgia and Auburn play before Alabama and Georgia. Let me know. Another question for today. After the biggest game, and I think I might end with this one so we could open up the conversation later on this week for the phone call segment with these topics in mind. Matchups, and I'm talking about, when I say matchups that I'm nervous about, I'm not necessarily talking about the team, right? I'm not talking about Tennessee versus Bama. I'm not talking about us versus South Carolina. The biggest matchups that I'm worried about and the biggest matchups that I'm confident in right now, they play October 11th. Oh, so that's after us. The biggest matchups that I'm concerned about right now is running game versus interior defensive production. Opposing running game versus our interior defensive production, meaning the tackle, nose tackle, inside linebacker rotation, and the safeties. The way that we run fit with the interior run game, that's what I'm worried about this season. Can we see a lot of improvement from last year? The perimeter wasn't an issue for us last year. We didn't see a lot of runs bounce outside. Where we were inconsistent at, because we saw games where we kind of shut down the run game as a total, but where teams were able to clip the 80+ yard mark as far as total rushing, or 100+ yards, they did majority of that damage in the middle of the field. So I would love to see the interior run game against teams like Vanderbilt, against teams like Wisconsin, against teams like Tennessee, South Carolina, Oklahoma. Not so much Oklahoma. I think they'll get away from more of that this season with Mateer back there. But Auburn, they're going to have to run it. Hugh Freeze is definitely going to try to set his misdirection plays up through the run. So a lot of interior discipline going to be needed in order for our team to hold it down. And you got, I think you got enough rotation and enough depth as far as players available. You just got to utilize them. You got to roll them out early. Florida State, ULM, Wisconsin game, I should see Edric Hill, Jordan Renard, Jeremiah Beeman, Stephen Boomer. Who else is in that rotation? I should see those four a lot. I shouldn't just see James Smith, Tim Keenan, right? I shouldn't just see those two. I should see the other four names that I mentioned a lot. Aside Fager should be playing some spot minutes, right? The edge rushing unit should never be tired on either side. Solid show so far today, bro. Hey, Sully, appreciate the doggone $4.99 super chat being the first co-sponsor on today's stream. Y'all give it up for Sully in the chat, man. Give it up to Sully giving up the first super chat. And did we have some gifts given up on TikTok? Did I miss some gifts already? Let me know. Yeah, we got four gifts given by my boy Antonio. Y'all give it up for these supporters, these co-sponsors of today's stream. Thank y'all for turning up and supporting the Coach Smook Network, man. We appreciate you 100%. Y'all give it up for everybody in the chat. I mean, for all the supporters that donated today. Thank you for that. He said, solid show so far today, bro. Appreciate that, man. Appreciate that. We trying. Gunnar Stockton is a worse version of Stetson Bennett is what I've heard from Georgia people. Dude, if that's the case, Georgia might be holding on to something. It looked like Georgia. That's when they do good, when they have a Stetson Bennett type quarterback. A worse version of Stetson, that might be a good thing for him. I just don't see it fair against and a lot of times y'all got to think, man, we got outplayed. Alex, appreciate the like over there on Facebook. We got outplayed on during the last 4 or 5 years of the Saban era. Dude, we weren't talking about great quarterbacks. We let Stetson Bennett light us up. Like, we let Stetson Bennett play smooth against us. So definitely going to be glad to see a different scheme in full operation on both sides of the ball. This is going to be exciting this year 2. So I said that matchup, the interior defensive line, the interior run game, the interior defensive line, interior linebackers, inside linebackers, and safeties run fits is a matchup that I'm most worried about. But also on the other side, offensively, the tackles. Can we see consistent tackle production from our starters, Wilkin Formby and Caden Proctor? Can we get that? Can we get it? I think we can. I think this is the year where it finally clicks for the young and Caden Proctor. Coming into year 3 as a starter. We got to see some quality production for him. And then Wilkin Formby coming into year 2. Last year started the season as a starter. Got started getting switched out with Pritchett. Now this year looking to be one of the leaders on that front. Can he continue to produce and get better and evolve? Because I think the interior is the best in the country between Cam Dewberry, Geno Vandermark, Parker Brailsford, and Jaden Roberts. That's probably the best group of 4 as far as rotation you can get on the interior in the country right now. So what's that matchup look like? What do those matchups look like, and how do they fare, not just against certain teams, but against the schedule for the season? 2 of our big problem areas that we struggled with last year. So I will be posting this. I will be making sure this gets clipped up and some of the shorts get posted so that you all can respond in the comments. I would love to see all of the takes and all of the talk that you all have been putting in the chat today. We'd love to see that on some of the VODs, some of the shorts. Make sure y'all are checking out the content, man. Make sure y'all are checking out the content that's not live. Make sure y'all are supporting by sharing that content. Don't forget, when you share shorts and reels, that gets way more reach than any live. Because once the live is over, the algorithm kind of dies on you. You have to kind of find it. But when you share the shorts and the reels from the different platforms, that helps out more than anything. So once again, I appreciate each and every one of you all. Thank y'all for tapping into the Coach Smook Morning Show. I thank you all for all the sponsors that have supported Coach Smook Network thus far. Don't forget, make sure you go subscribe over at the Alabama at the Voice of College Football. Make sure you subscribe over there. We have our weekly shows, the new schedule kicking off in September. Going to be making an announcement about that. Plus our announcement here about the Coach Smook Network live stream schedule for the month of September. Well, really for the fall football season. We got Friday Night Lights kicking back off. We got a few high school games to go to, a few Alabama commits that have invited us to their games on Friday. So we'll be making a few trips this fall. A lot of coverage, a lot of fun, a lot of content to support here at the Coach Smook Network. Don't forget the call-in show tomorrow night. We're going to kick it off between 7:30 and 8 p.m. We don't have an official time yet, but it's going to be between 7:30 and 8 p.m. That's Friday night. I said tomorrow night. I keep forgetting today is Wednesday. But post-practice report today, we will be discussing it live on TikTok. So if you want to be a part of the post-practice report, tap in on TikTok. We'll be doing some gaming after this live. We're actually cranked that up at like 10:30. 10:30 we'll be going live gaming. And today I think I'm gonna try to keep chill vibes. I'm gonna play out this season. I'm gonna coach this season of Alabama football for this year's roster. We'll set up a dynasty and go ahead and rock out the season. We won't play against no users up until we'll crank the user games up around 2:00. But we'll play the first half. We'll play the first 4 games of the season against the CPU Heisman mode, realistic settings. I got my my realistic settings set up for the computer so it could be competitive. And I think this is going to be fun to interact with. So if y'all want to enjoy that, bring your fan hats today. I got my coach visor on. I'm gonna pull the hair up today. We're gonna put the headset on and we're gonna get in the booth and we're gonna scheme this game up as we try to get better for the league set up. We're going to crank our league up after the Georgia game of the season. So if you want to get in the NCAA league, jump into the Discord and follow that. We're going to keep a basic league going, dynasty going, and it's going to be some fun. Don't forget to check out our merch. We got our merch up. The link is in the chat. You want to check that out, make sure you go check that out. Bentley, boy, good to see you, man. Roll Tide over there on YouTube. Thank you for tapping in and catching us on the tail end of the show. If you missed it, man, make sure you jump back in and rewatch the show. I think we had some good conversation. Not a lot to talk about with the season gearing up. Everything we've kind of discussed has been transpiring, so it's kind of hard to stay ahead of the game when you being in the game is always being ahead. So y'all continue to help us. You see any interesting topics, got questions, drop them in the comments. But with that being said, I want to thank each and every one of you for your support. And thank y'all for the 25 likes. We just hit the 25 on the stream. Thank y'all so much. Y'all, listen, we killing the goals, y'all. We killing the goals. God said, you ask him for what you want, he'll give you what you need. And we maintaining a certain level of likes through the live stream, the certain level of interaction is definitely helping us with our growth in the algorithm. So thank y'all for being who you are. And remember, when you see me in the streets, holla at me and say, put me in the game, Coach Smook. I will catch y'all on the next one. Y'all be blessed. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this YouTube channel. I'm your boy, Coach Smook, and I'll catch y'all on the next one. Roll Tide, roll. Y'all be blessed.
Better go subscribe. You do roll with the tide. I'm down in the gun with Coach Smook. Through the game, roll tide, roll tide. Better go subscribe.